So if one wants to do the 9-round breathing a little bit more elaborate, actually in Tantra, you imagine your body just the outer shape, like a balloon, just the skin, and then inside empty space. And then you imagine the central channel, the Kundalini, light energy that goes from your lower chakra up in front of the spine and comes to your third eye. And then there's a channel to its right that goes from your right nostril up along the central channel. And you imagine that it goes to 4 finger width below your belly button. And then another channel from your left nostril going up, down. And these two channels, they meet at just below your belly button, and they cross inside the central channel. Okay. So when you inhale, you imagine inhaling through your right nostril, and then you bring the energy down here, and you imagine that the air blows out the stale air from your left channel, out of your left nostril. And then you inhale through your left nostril, bring the energy down and push the stale energy from your right channel out of your right nostril. So when it has something to do in the subtle body, the energy of anger is related to the left side of your body. So when the energy flows in the channel of left side of your body, so is the energy of irritation, anger, aversion. So you exhale that energy, and when you inhale through your left nostril, from your right side, you exhale the energy of grasping, craving, holding tightly onto things. So you exhale that. And then on the third row, you imagine inhaling light through both nostrils, and you bring it down to 4 finger width below the belly. And then you push the air against each other, and you hold it there for a little while. So this, you see, because you push the air against each other, it produces a little bit of heat, or a sensation of heat, right? So you hold that, for a few seconds, whatever is comfortable, and then you imagine that you push that energy inside the central channel, inside your Kundalini, and then you imagine that air dissolves inside your central channel, and that your consciousness becomes a little bit more subtle. You see, in Tantra, it explains that our discursive mind, our thought, emotion arise because of the wind flowing throughout your subtle body, but not inside the central channel. So if you're able to direct the energy in your subtle body inside the central channel, so your mind becomes clearer and stable, and you don't have any more concept, any more thought or emotion or ordinary thought and emotion. So your mind becomes more subtle. So normally one starts by inhaling 3 times to the right nostril, bring it down, hold it a few seconds, and inhaling, so you inhale light, and that light cleans the channel and then pushes the stale energy from your left channel out of your left nostril. So you do that 3 times. Then you reverse. 3 times you inhale light through your left nostril and you push out the stale energy, through your right nostril. And so you do that 3 times, and then 3 times you inhale through both nostrils, inhale light, and you push it against each other, and you hold the breath for whatever is comfortable for you. You push it together and you feel this little heat. And then you push that inside the central channel and you imagine your mind and that energy dissolves into your central channel. And then after that, you just do the third set. See, you inhale through both nostrils, you bring it down, and you push it against each other, and you try to feel certain heat. And you can even pull together the muscle from your pelvic floor, the lower end. So you pull that together, and you try to imagine that you bring the energy from your sex chakra towards the base of your spine. And then you imagine that you bring that feeling, that energy out your central channel. And you imagine that your mind that is pervading the consciousness of your body, your mind actually gradually becomes less conscious of your body. So you see, you have chakras and the energy goes out like a nervous system pervading the whole body. So by doing that visualization, you bring your energy from the side channel towards your central channel, and then you try to absorb your mind, wind, subtle energy inside the central channel. So you become less and less conscious of your body and more conscious of like a tree, you have all the energy in the branches, and then you bring the energy inside the trunk, into the sap, So similarly, you try to bring your mind inside, the Kundalini energy inside the central channel. So in that way, you try to become aware of a more subtle mind, more subtle energy of yourself. And that's another way to detach from your body, from your physical body. And then if you like, at the beginning it's kind of helpful, there's a mudra that accompanies that. So you put your thumb below your ring finger, right? And then you make a fist. Yeah. You make a fist. And then your left fist you put against below your arm, but not like that, not like that, like that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Other arm. Yeah. And like that. Yeah. And then you squeeze it with your arm. Okay. And this one, so you bring it up. And with this one, you block the opposite nostril, so 3 times. Then you move the arm, and then you exhale. Yeah. And then so 3 times you do like that. And then 3 times you inhale first with that one, and you exhale. Okay. And then the last 3, you open your palm like that, and you put it on your knees like that. And as you inhale, you make a fist and you hold it. And then when you exhale, you open. Okay. So you inhale, you hold it, central channel, and then you exhale. You inhale, you exhale. Okay. And then once you've done that for whatever time you like, then you put your hand in the meditation mudra. And then you just make the third round. You inhale through both nostrils and you focus on your navel chakra and you bring the energy there, right? So holding the hands there helps you actually to bring the energy there at your navel chakra. And the 2 thumbs touching actually open, when you touch your 2 thumbs together, you feel actually it opens your heart chakra. So there's a connection, between your hand gesture and what's happening in your subtle body. So you try not to hold the hand in front, right? You try to tuck it around things, and about, yeah, like that. Like that. So also not the thumbs up. This creates distraction, and not the thumb lying down. That creates dullness. So the thumbs have to be straight. Okay. So all the, you see, it's very subtle. It's like you tune a guitar, right? So same thing. You can tune your state of mind with your physical posture. Okay? And also the arms are not tucked again the body. This again brings dullness. So they're kind of like wings, relax from your body. So there's air flowing, kind of like that. Okay. And then the mouth is closed, but the teeth are not grinning, no, you're not, just mouth together. And then here, this is the upper part of your body. So you imagine like you pull, top of it. So your spine is quite straight, but relaxed, and the shoulder are relaxed. And then the eyes, either you leave them slightly open, like the Buddha's image where the eyes are half open, and you gaze in the space in front of you. Or if for you it's more comfortable and the eyes closed, that's fine too. And from time to time, you check whether your body is comfortable, that no tension accumulates. So your body has to be quite relaxed. So to learn the meditation, we're going to do three sets of 9, okay? And then we focus. So then after that, you can imagine that your mind is down at your navel chakra. So the navel chakra is, you know where your belly button is, right? So you put your hand like that across. So forefinger width below the belly button, you touch there with a finger, right? So then you draw a line backwards and just before the spine. So that is the navel chakra. So sometimes it helps to put a finger there and imagine a line going backwards, and there you try to feel a vortex of energy, and that would be the navel chakra. And that's where you imagine the air coming down and pushing towards each other. And that heat, as you do again and again, the third cycle. So you imagine that heat turns into a flame. And then that flame, you imagine it goes up your central channel. And that flame is actually your subtle consciousness. And then you try to absorb your mind gradually into that flame, into that light. And you imagine that light goes up and up your central channel, and you dissolve your mind into it. So you withdraw your consciousness from your body into that light energy in the center of yourself. And you rest there, you relax there. Okay, we try. Okay. Okay. So you inhale deeply and you hold the breath, and then you squeeze together your lower muscle, and you imagine, it creates a certain sensation when you squeeze the muscle together. And then that sensation with your mind, you pull it up your central channel. You imagine that that sensation is some kind of light energy, and you pull it up, and you pull it up while you exhale. And you imagine your mind absorbs into that sensation. So the trick is not to analyze, not to conceptualize, not try to understand with thought. The trick is to absorb yourself into that energy, into that place, and just rest there. So you try not to think about anything. You just absorb into that energy and rest there. And by doing so, you discover the nature of the mind. That it's like a space that recognizes, that is aware. And that space is in a nature of peace and of bliss, pleasurable sensation. And then if you can, you relax completely your body and you try to eliminate the feeling of subject-object, like there's a subjective mind focusing on the objective mind, a subjective awareness focusing on the energy inside the central channel. So you try to let go of your feeling of body and dissolve this subject and object feeling. So you imagine your subjective consciousness become one with your objective consciousness. And you try to remain completely still without thought into that experience. Don't think about the meditation. Just be the meditation. Don't analyze, rationalize, try to understand with thoughts. Just completely let go. And then as you relax more into that experience, imagine that your body dissolves into your consciousness. Basically, the body disappears and you're just a pure space of infinite awareness without limit, like the sky, but conscious. And again, try not to use any thoughts. Thoughts take you out of the experience. Thoughts are dualistic. They produce subject and object. So just try to rest into the experience of being space, of pure awareness. So the more you're able to relax into that experience, into that space turns in a nature of light. So you can imagine that the nature of light, space, and that experience is pervaded by a sensation, a feeling of bliss or subtle pleasure. And whatever you experience, be satisfied with that. Don't push for more. Pushing creates duality. So completely relax in whatever you experience. Completely let go into that space. Then very gently within that space, you shape your body as a light energy body. So you separate the subtle matter, the subtle wind energy from the space. So very gently create a light energy body, the shape of your body. So all the while, try to keep the spacious nature of your mind. So from space, you crystallize, you manifest this body of light. So imagine that the other people in the room, also from space, they crystallize the body of light. So as you're aware of your body of light, you're aware of other bodies of light sitting in the room. So with your mind's eye, you can feel, you can touch, you can see their body of light. And then also from the space of pure awareness, your mind crystallizes, shapes this room as the rainbow light energy room. So to your mind's eye, the room appears as rainbow-like energy in the nature of bliss and unsubstantial. So what you see with your mind's eye is similar to a dream. So there's the awareness, your mind, and your mind has shaped this body of light and this room of light. So like a dream consciousness produce a dreamer's body and a dream people and dream environment. So your mind creates this light energy body and these other light energy bodies of other people and this room. So it's the same substance than in the dream, subtle form, subtle mind. So you could say we have this gross physical body, and then we have a mental body, or a light energy body, or a dream body. And this dream body or dream consciousness perceive the world in form of light energy. And this dream consciousness or subtle consciousness is less dualistic subject-object. You see, when you open your eye, the world is the consciousness is inside your body, watching outside the world out there. Whereas with your mental consciousness or subtle consciousness, you perceive objects, your body and other people's body, but at the same time, your mind is within it, within that. So your mind perceives the room as a light energy room, but your consciousness also pervades the room. So it sees the room and feels the room. So the subtle consciousness is less dualistic. That also helps you with bodhicitta. You see, there is less a separation of me being a completely separate island. Your being actually pervades the other people's light energy, body and mind. So there's a separation, but at the same time, there's a feeling of oneness. You like to stretch? Can stretch maybe 5-10 minutes. So first, is there any questions about the meditation we just did? Yes.
I have a question about the breathing. Kundalini.
A little bit louder.
Like in Kundalini, you can learn to use the ring finger and the thumb, I believe.
Yes.
For the
Yes.
thumb.
Yes. Yes.
I wonder, because we're quite specific about how to hold everything.
Yes.
What the difference is.
In different traditions, there's different ways. It's completely okay.
Yeah.
You know, you do whatever works for you. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
So in the traditions, is this a mixture of Mahamudra, Sokring, and Kirin? Would you just...
It's a little bit a mixture of all that. Basically, this is the ground, you know. You could say you have ground, path, and result, you know, of Mahamudra. You have the ground, path, and result. So this is the ground, Mahamudra, right? Because once you experience that and stabilize, then you use certain method to go to the ultimate nature of the mind, right? So this is still the conventional nature of the mind, but more subtle than our ordinary mind, right? Then from within that, once one stabilizes that, then one looks through it. Yeah.
Yeah. But then you have also the channels and the fire that would be like to bring part of it.
Yeah, yeah,
Body.
yeah,
Kirin.
yes. Well, both, you see, you have certain aspect of that in generation stage and in completion stage. So yes, but when you do it naked like that, is without this context. You know, I left out the specific tantric method, right? I just present it nakedly to experience consciousness, right? Because if one goes to more technical thing, then one needs initiation and things. But naked like that, one can do it. So His Holiness Dalai Lama often presents even the 9-round breathing, you know, like that. And I remember my first November course at Kopan, you know, in '79. So the morning meditation, we used to do this 9-round breathing, you know, before breakfast. You know, Lama Yeshe liked very much that practice. So we used to do that before breakfast. And because he said, we Westerners like to work with energy, you know, so there you start manipulating the subtle energy, and we feel comfortable with manipulating energy, you know, and it gives us some kind of experience quite quickly, you know, some taste, right? So it's kind of complementary to an intellectual understanding. Sometimes intellect, you know, just word concept, and after a while we're tired of all these words and concepts. We want some experience, right? So it's kind of good to combine.
Venerable René, can I just ask one question to clarify the when I got the posture, but it is when you synchronize. I just speak the loudest I can hear. So when you synchronize with those 3 breaths,
Yeah.
I remember Holiness taught that you change hands when you change those, or doesn't
Sometimes
matter?
sometimes you change it and sometimes not.
Okay.
So there's both ways.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So today is
Yeah,
different.
yeah. I heard His Holiness, you know, also do only with one side.
I see.
So yeah.
So what do we do?
I do just one side. I'm lazy.
But do we change? No.
No, no need.
Just always.
Yeah, just
Just
always,
that.
yeah, just like that.
So 9 rounds. and
You
then
just
lie
move. You just move the finger. It's already tiring, you know.
down. So don't. Okay.
You don't move. You don't.
Okay.
Yeah. But yes, I've seen, rarely I see it changing. Mostly I see just with one side, from different lamas.
So it's the right fingered, left,
The right, yes, and
right
the left.
fingers, left
yeah.
arm.
Right.
Throughout the night, sorry,
Yeah.
throughout the night breaths.
This one.
No, this one. Yeah. Right. No, the other.
It's the other.
Yeah, but I made that one.
Yeah, you're correct.
And you put the hand like turn like.
Yeah, the Vajra fist and like that.
Like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So in the subtle body, it blocks certain channel. So it has an effect on the subtle body.
And one question regarding this practice can be done in any kind of at the beginning of any kind of meditation.
Yes. So usually what's helpful about that, you had your day and you're very agitated, you think about the past, your mind is really quite wild. So this practice, I found it very effective to calm down the mind, to start any other meditation. Somehow it clears the mind, and it clears the mind, not just by focusing on the breath and trying to get, remove the attention of the thought, but you also work with energy, and somehow it clears the mind quicker. I found it quite effective, for me. That's why, I like that, because somehow, because you manipulate energy, somehow your mind becomes clearer quicker, after a day of work or, whatever, or you have some kind of emotion, so somehow you clear your mind like that.
Wenn du in dem subtilen Zustand bist, tust dann du immer noch durch beide Kanäle durchschrauben und mit dem Zentralkanal rauf, oder tust du dann normal schrauben?
Kannst du auf Englisch?
If you're in the state of the subtleness,
Of mine.
then how you breathe, you just visualize the breathing through the outer channels and go in the inner channel, or you just breathe normally in
At
your
some-
normal regular rhythm.
At some point, you let go of the technique, you just absorb into the experience. But because you have the familiarity of breathing that way, it continues to breathe like that, but you're not aware of it. You still imagine breathing into both nostrils and hold the breath and exhaling the central channel. So this is still happening in the background, but you're not really aware of it because you have let go your awareness and you completely absorb into the space of pure awareness, right? So, yeah.
I lost this technique.
Yeah.
I just went in the normal rhythm of breathing.
In normal, you let go of the attention of the breathing. Or sometimes you breathe, sometimes you don't breathe. When your mind becomes very subtle, actually you stop breathing, or the breathing becomes very faint. You absorb into pure awareness, so you completely forget about what's happening with the breath. You just in space.
If you don't let go of the technique and you continue to do this technique, is that tumor?
It can turn into tumor, yes. But tumor, you have ordinary tumor and then you have tantric tumor,
How would you describe tumor or the results of tumor? I don't know.
Well, in Tantra, we speak about gross body, gross mind, subtle body, subtle mind. So in this technique, with we're doing, we try to intuit it with a more subtle level of mind and more subtle level of body, right? So this is then the mind that absorbs. So first in Tantra, you try to awaken the subtle body, you know. So we have a central channel, right, left channel. So these are the main channel. Then you have the main chakra, and then you have 62,000 channel, 72,000 channels pervading the whole body. So you try to clean this channel, wind, drop. You try to awaken that and clean it, you know, through various exercise. And then when that is awake, you try to absorb your mind into central channel, right? And there you experience the more subtle level of consciousness and the more subtle level of form. And then you try to awaken the third level of consciousness, this third level of form, which is when you absorb all the wind energy that they are. Now you are in the central channel. Now you try to absorb everything into the heart chakra. And there you experience the most subtle level of consciousness and the most subtle level of form, right? And that, as an ordinary being, you only experience at the time of death, right? This most subtle level of being, you only experience the day you die. But through yogic practice, you can bring that experience about before, and then use it to realize the nature of the mind, the nature of reality. Tumo is a practice where, you know, so first you have various practice to clean the subtle body, subtle mind, and bring the wind in. So Tumo is one of the practice to bring the wind inside the central channel, your consciousness inside it. But there are a number of preliminary practice before being able to do that successfully. Right? So in Tantra, one says, you don't become Buddha with your ordinary consciousness. You don't become Buddha with your subtle consciousness. You become Buddha with your very subtle consciousness inside the heart chakra. So that's the level of consciousness that Buddha lives within, right? So it's a very refined state of consciousness. So through the sutra path, you generate bodhicitta, then you go through the path of accumulation, preparation, seeing, meditation, and no more learning. And when you reach the path of meditation has 9 stage or 10 stage. And then at the end of the path of meditation, you know, the Buddha manifests to you and helps you to experience this more subtle mind of clear light. And then with that, you then realize the nature of reality and you become omniscient. You know, you become all-knowing. You become Buddha. You know? But on the tantric path, so there are methods to make these things happening quicker. Okay. Anything else? Okay. So from Cheying, would Mahamudra meditation also be a basis for then going into an analytical meditation on emptiness? Or is that mainly done first from calm abiding? So there's different ways of going about it. So you have Mahamudra of the base of the past and the result. So Mahamudra of the base is to recognize this pure awareness, the clear and knowing nature of the mind, and you develop calm abiding on that, right? So you develop a stable, clear, you absorb into that space of pure awareness, and you stabilize that experience till you can effortlessly stay in that experience for whatever time you want and whenever you want, right? And then in parallel, so there are two approaches. One approach then is to let the thought arise again within that experience, and you check, where did the thought come from? And where does the thought abide while it's there? And where is the thought disappearing when it goes away, right? And what is the nature of the mind when there's no thought? So you inquire, right? So you stop just resting the mind in pure awareness. You start having little antenna that tries to understand what's going on in that experience. So this, you would say, is subtle analytical meditation, right? So you try to get some insight into the nature of the mind, the nature of thought, and so forth. And then if you use the prasangika method, so there you would inquire where in that experience you would let your sense of I arise. So it's not like you realize emptiness analytically at that moment. You already have studied, reflected, and meditate on emptiness analytically separately. So from that experience of the mind being stable in that pure space, you let your sense of I arise, and you realize that the way the I appears is dualistic. It appears to exist from its own side. And then, because you have understood emptiness, in that space you realize, but the I, the way it exists, is a mere imputation on that space of pure awareness. There's no I there from its own side. So you go into, you transform the space of being a positive, just a conventional nature of the mind, into a non-affirming negation, a non-finding of the I that appear to exist from his own side. So it's a non-finding of the I. Or you can apply it to the mind, so the mind appears to exist there from his own side. But that mind you cannot find. The mind is merely imputed on that space that is clear and knowing. So there's different way to go about it. But first you develop a certain level of calm abiding on the space-like nature of the mind. So in Mahamudra, first you go into two steps. You develop calm abiding on the conventional nature of the mind. And once you have a great level of stability of that, then you go to the ultimate nature of the I, the mind, and all phenomena. So, and in the sutra way, you use the ordinary mind to do that. And then in Tantra, you try to awaken a more subtle level of the mind to do the same thing. Yeah. Okay, I think that's about that.
It's okay. Ignore the picture Tara sent you.
In your what?
In the WhatsApp, the question is from the room. I sent it to her, so. In the phone,
Yeah.
Tara just sent you questions.
Yeah.
Those are questions already from this room.
Okay, so in your.
Yes.
I don't look.
Yes.
All right, so I would like to continue a little bit the section on bodhicitta from Shantideva. So in this next section, Shantideva, there's two ways to do this meditation. So one way, how Shantideva describes it, is that you go out of yourself and you become another person that is jealous of you, of your quality. So he becomes jealous of you, right? And then he is superior and looks down on you and is proud, of having greater quality than you. And then he becomes competitive with you, being equal but competitive. So I found that gymnastic a bit complicated. So I found it easier just to meditate on somebody, that is superior to me, and then equal to me, and inferior to me. And how, when these emotion of pride arise, how I feel of being proud, or how I feel when I'm competitive with someone else, and how I feel when I'm superior to someone. So Shantideva explains that meditation. You see, the point is to realize that this is not a mind of equanimity where you equal with all beings. You feel superior, you feel inferior, and you feel competitive, right? So in everyday life, we have that feeling arising all the time, in everyday situation, that mind, of pride, of feeling inferior, and of being competitive arise in the professional field, in the street, or all the time. So this is a good meditation to see how stupid that mind is, how irrelevant, how how we would be much happier without having this mind of superiority, competitiveness, or feeling inferior. In order to generate compassion, let me trade places by identifying myself as other and viewing me with envy, competitiveness, and pride. So here it starts by, you look at somebody that you feel is superior to you, and you have this mind of envy or jealousy arising. And of course, this is done a little bit with the Indian culture. If you would create a meditation on that using our Western context, you could make something quite interesting. But here you have to put yourself a little bit in the Indian context. The society of the 8th century India. What? He's so well treated and honored. But look at me, I'm despised and don't care and don't earn as much. I work while he rests. People think he's great and I'm inferior, without quality. So jealousy arises and so great. Nobody likes me. without quality, not true. He's lower than some, while I'm superior to some. It's because of delusions that my practice and morality have declined. Being helpless, I wish he would heal me. But he does nothing and despises me. What use are his qualities to me? He has no compassion for me, yet pretends to be so wise. So you see, the jealous mind makes a whole story how, the other person, is so superior and things like that. And he doesn't care about me, doesn't help me, And then there's the rivalry of a peer, people which are equal to us, and then we are competitive. He who's considered my equal, I will beat in wealth and honor, regardless of the consequences. May my quality be known to all, and his ignored. May my failings remain hidden, and all honor be kept for me, while I delight in his public demise. So Shantideva puts up the character, how that mind is silly, that mind of being competitive. And then he creates a caricature of the mind of a person that feels superior. Look at this miserable one who dare compete with me in learning, intelligence, and wealth. Hearing my praises sends shiver of joy down my spine. I will take what he owns by force and leave him just enough to serve me. Knowing that I suffered over and over in samsara because of him. From now on, he will have no happiness. So Shantideva has shown, how silly the mind of envy is, and the mind of competitiveness, and the mind of pride, of feeling of superiority towards other, And then he concludes, O mind, for so many lives, you looked after your self-interest in this way and only experienced pain. I must trust and follow Buddha's advice and later experience its advantages. Had I done so earlier, I wouldn't be in this pitiful state now. Just as I placed this notion of me upon the sperm and ovum of my parents, I will do the same onto the bodies of others. So I think this mind of jealousy, pride, and competitiveness actually harms us a lot. You see, and we experience that a lot in many situations, you know, whether in our studies, in our spiritual practice, in works, places, and with people we see in the street. You know, we have sometimes a feeling of superiority towards somebody. For example, you know, somebody doesn't speak well the language, you know, so we feel superior because we know the language well. Somewhere when we are young adults, we feel superior because of the beauty of our body, you know. And then if somebody has something more than us, has a nice partner or nice children, or knows more than us, or is more wealthy, we feel jealous, you know. And then when we study, you know, or meditate together, there's a feeling of competitiveness, you know. So these minds actually, if you check, you know, they are quite present and pervade our mind in many situations, and they just arise, you know, without warning. Suddenly you realize, oh, I'm jealous, oh, I'm bad, oh, I'm competitive, right? So Shantideva shows that these minds are quite silly, you know, and as long, and you see, when you have these minds, at that moment you don't have love and compassion for others, you know. So when your mind is jealous, you don't have love and compassion for them. When you have pride, you know, you don't have love and compassion. And when you're competitive, again, you know, you don't have love and compassion. You don't wish happiness to others. You don't wish them to succeed. No, you want to be first. You want to be the best. And so this mind of pride, jealousy, and competitiveness, they harm your love and compassion. They harm your equanimity or the equality of self and other. You know, they prevent you from developing bodhicitta. They prevent you from feeling one with all living beings and wanting each and everyone to be happy. So usually, you know, in the Lamrim, you have various antidote, you know, to these three emotions. So when pride arises, you know, feeling of superiority, one way is to think, yeah, I know this and that, but compare what other people know, you know, there's nothing. There are people which know much more than I do. So I'm nothing so special, you know. So you try to deflate your big ego, you know. And when you feel envy or, you know, you feel inferior, you know, so then you think, well, compared to many, actually, I know more, you know, so I'm quite okay. You know? Yes, compared to those ones, you know, I know less, but compared to others, I know more. And then also when you see people, being more intelligent, more handsome, having more possession, more fame, things like that, you think about, you see, this is the result of karma. They don't experience that by chance. They have created a cause for it. So if I want to experience similar thing, I just have to create the cause. And then if you have the feeling of inferiority, things like that, I think you reflect, the nature of the mind is fundamentally pure. I have Buddha nature. I'm not without qualities. Anything I want, I can achieve. I can even become a Buddha, omniscient. It's just a matter of making the effort, training my mind. So there's different antidote to different state of mind that arise. And then the ultimate antidote that works to all these afflictions is the mind of emptiness. Is to realize the emptiness of inherent existence, all these phenomena. So that pacifies all these mental afflictions. So here in this section, Shantideva speaks about, you see, so far he has spoken about equalizing self with other, right? So we all same in wanting to be happy, not wanting suffering. And there is no reason to feel superior, competitive, or inferior. So far he has spoken about, we all same. And then there's the next step in that meditation is actually other people are much more important than me. So far we have equalized and now we exchange. Other people, their happiness is more important than my happiness. Their enlightenment is more important than my enlightenment. Having exchanged myself for other, I will use whatever I possess for others' benefit. And I shouldn't be envious of that me that is happy while others are sad, that merely seek its own interest. I will leave my happiness behind and embrace the pain of others. Take the blame of others' fault and openly admit even my minor faults. By praising others, I will make their fame outshine my own and always serve them, hiding any quality I might have so no one knows them. In brief, may all the harm I have done to others come back to me. May I be free of arrogance and act as shy as a young bride. I don't think Western bride and brides, but I guess in some culture. From now on, I will be taught on you, O mind, and you will abandon your selfish ways. You, the cause of all my suffering, wherever you go, I will destroy your arrogance. I have offered you to others, so be of service. If I don't give you to others, without a doubt, you will lead me to hell. How many times have you brought me there? Remembering your selfishness, I will subdue you. If I want happiness, I should cherish others. If I want protection, I should protect others. So in Mahayana tradition, there's two causes of our suffering, of our problem. One is the self-grasping, and then it's the selfishness, or sometimes called self-cherishing. So here it tackles the second one, the selfishness, where one is more important than other. My happiness is more important than other. So out of my selfishness, you see, I do all my negative actions. I never kill out of compassion. I never steal out of compassion. I don't do sexual misconduct out of compassion. I don't create suffering to my sexual behavior out of compassion. I don't lie out of compassion. I don't criticize or use harsh words or gossip out of compassion. I don't have ill will, covetousness, and wrong views out of compassion. So if you generate compassion and cherish others more than yourself, naturally all your negative thought and emotion disappear, and thereby, because they disappear, then you you don't experience the suffering consequences because you haven't created those goals. And then whatever action you do out of concern for others, out of compassion, all these actions are virtuous, So you actually engage in the opposite, right? Instead of killing, you save life, you extend life of others, you take care of their health, you give advice, you help them, right? So all the 10 non-virtuous actions can be transformed into positive out of love and compassion, out of cherishing them. So all what you do, because you're concerned about others, all your actions become virtuous. And because they are virtuous, they are the cause of your own happiness. So the selfish mind, is there supposedly to help oneself, but actually, because that selfishness makes us do negative deeds, so actually it creates the cause of our suffering. And the altruistic mind, the mind that cares more for others, feels like, oh, actually, I'm more interested in others, so what's left for me? Actually, I'm helping others, so I will become sad and depressed. But actually, because you care for others and you create all these virtuous actions, actually you become happier and happier. So then he goes on to speak about the drawbacks of, so much we do for our body, so that it stays healthy, and we care of our body, so much energy we put into our body. So he kind of analyzes this attention we put towards our body. The more I pamper this body, the more temperamental it becomes. And the more temperamental, the more I crave to satisfy it. But to no avail, this craving is misery. Those who are free from it find everlasting peace. So I won't let physical desire increase, and will surround myself with things that don't arouse desire. Why get attached to this impure body, which will end up as ashes? What use is this machine to me, alive or dead? O feeling of I, why don't you die? Attachment to my body has only brought me pain. Why care about its love or hate? This body doesn't care about its own fate, so why should I protect it? Nor does it know anger or pleasure, so why exhaust myself on its behalf? And then the little devil in me objects, I like my body, it and I are friends. Then the wisdom answers, well, since all beings like their bodies, why don't I find pleasure in theirs? I will give up this body for the sake of others and look after it like I would a tool. Enough of my childish ways. I will follow the wise and avoid sleep and laziness. If I don't make constant effort day and night, when will my suffering come to an end? To eliminate delusions, I will constantly rest my mind with meditative concentration on the perfect object, emptiness. So here, Shantideva speaks about this method. See that all the suffering we experience, its root cause, is our selfish ways. All the negative actions we do is out of being selfish. I'm more important than others. And all the positive deeds we create are rooted in this thought that others are lovable, others have compassion for others, wishing to take care of them, wishing to make them happy. So out of this good thought, and so arise good actions. Whatever we say is pleasant, is healing, want to make other people happy, and whatever actions we do with them, we try to be helpful. So all becomes virtuous when you have this exchange of your self-interest. We exchange that for caring for others, into caring for others. So this meditation is to be done a lot. You see, you hear the words and say, yeah, wow, question mark, is that true? Is that so? in reality, I'm sure my self-interest is more important than caring for others. I meditate to become a better person, I remove my affliction, so to reach liberation, So His Holiness Dalai Lama is, in some text, some commentary says, you see, the Arhat, he has removed self-grasping ignorance, but he hasn't removed the subtle selfishness, the subtle self-interest. You see, he wants to get free of the delusion, So, but out of self-interest, not out of love and compassion for others. So that subtle selfishness makes him become an arhat, whereas a bodhisattva, because he doesn't have this self-interest, the same realization of emptiness turns into the omniscient mind. So because the bodhisattva doesn't have this self-interest, this self-centered attitude, he cares for all beings, and out of caring for all beings, then he realizes emptiness. And the same realization of emptiness, because of that compassionate attitude, that relative bodhicitta, then that experience turns, into enlightenment. So in the Guru Puja, is that verse, actually it comes also from Shantideva. All the suffering that exists in the world comes from selfishness, and all the happiness that exists in the world comes from cherishing Adam. So all the goodness that comes in the world comes from caring for others, and all the bad thing that comes in the world comes from being self-centered. And this is important to notice in life around you, how, if a boss is selfish, he doesn't give good ways to his employees, and when the employees are selfish, they work the minimum, just to pass by, and then the whole atmosphere is rotten in the business place, in the working place, The boss doesn't care for the employee doesn't care for the company, so the whole thing's, is in bad shape, bad atmosphere. So same thing in a family, if the children are selfish and the parents are selfish, and if people, even partners, doesn't care for the other person's happiness, then the harmony of the couple, the harmony of the family, and then a lot of unhappiness happens, simply because one doesn't love and care and has compassion for the partner or the children or the parents. And then, so the more the people are under this negative emotion of selfishness, the more the atmosphere degenerates. So if even one person at the workplace or in the family has more love and compassion and caring for others, that less this harmony is there, And if 2 or 3 practice this love and compassion, care, that much more harmony and joy arise in the workplace and the family or in society. So you can really see how selfishness creates so much trouble, And if you bring that to the political level, there too you can see, the more, the politicians are selfish, thinking about their own interests, the less they do productive, positive work, no? And more people are selfish, the more the society degenerates. And more people are loving and caring and doing their work well and thinking about others, the more the society becomes happy. So this is an important meditation to check, to analyze, to observe how true it is. In family, you hear about this and that family or this and that problem at work or in homes, or in society. So you check how always it comes down to being selfish. And then all the good things that arise in the world, they come out of this altruism, in caring for others. So this is true in the world. We can observe that around you, but it's also true in yourself. So the more you're selfish, the more you're self-centered, the more unhappy you become. And the more you generate love, compassion, wanting to make other people happy, being kind and generous and loving, and try to help people around you. So the more you cultivate that attitude, the happier you become. So in the Mahayana, this is really the main practice. You see, is to equalize yourself with other, and then see the advantage of cherishing other more than yourself, and the disadvantage of selfishness, and the advantage, the benefit of cherishing other. And this attitude of cherishing other, you don't need to worry about dying and where you're going to be reborn. That attitude of caring, of loving, that will bring you from good rebirth to good rebirth, till full enlightenment. That attitude of loving, of caring, of bodhicitta, from lifetime to lifetime, your life will become better, and that will lead you to full enlightenment. So that is the essence, the heart of the Mahayana path. The most important treasure you can develop in your heart is that attitude of caring, of being loving, and of cherishing others more than self. So if you make that your main practice, then life will become better and better. Not only this life, but where you're born, and from lifetime to lifetime, you're on the path, So in each life you will meet spiritual teacher, in each time you will have respect, each time you will learn, and and because of all these virtues, your life, each successive life becomes easier and easier, and you have better conditions. So every day one should read a few verses about this, and reflect on it. So once one has to make this determination that it's in my own benefit, to be caring, loving, and cherishing others. So then one makes this meditation. So you focus on your exhale, and you imagine that you, out of love, you imagine you love, you care, you wish to make other beings happy, in the form of a sun radiating in your heart, like the sunshine. And you imagine the rays of the sun, as you exhale, they leave your nostril and they transform like wish fulfilling jewel, into whatever beings desire. So, and you start again with the people close to you in your life, So, if somebody is sick, so you exhale healing light, and you imagine that you pacify the suffering of that person. If that person has cancer, you imagine that light, transforming healing energy that, that transforms a sick cell, that heals the cell of the body. And if the person has a lot of mental problems, you imagine that light heals, the mental afflictions and cleans his or her mind, and makes the mind peaceful and happy. So you start with the people close to you in life, could be your parents, your partner, your children, your friends, your colleagues at work. So you send healing energy, to everyone. And you do it not mechanically, but out of love, because you care about their happiness. And also focus on all the people in this room, So each one of them, like me, want to be happy. And each one of these beings have this pure Buddha mind. So as you exhale out of love, you imagine that loving light pacify their mental affliction and make them discover their pure Buddha nature. And then gradually you extend, to the people in your neighborhood, and the city, the country, and all humanity, and all beings in the sixth realm. So as you do this meditation, there's two things. One is a kind of calm, abiding meditation on the movement of the breath, right? So you focus on the light in your heart and you exhale that light in your heart. So you develop calm, stable mind on the movement of the breath. So the mind becomes clear and calm. And then within that clear and calmness, you add some subliminal thoughts, some very gentle thoughts of lovingness, of caring for others, of healing energy that you send out. You think about people's physical problem or mental problem or spiritual problem, and you heal with this light. And if you have some difficulty with some politician, imagine that you clean their mind of their arrogance, of their anger, hatred, jealousy, pride. So you send healing energy to pacify their mental afflictions so that they become beautiful human beings, helping others. So here you are acting. You're not just wishing other beings to be happy, but you're working to make them happy through the light energy that you send, and that heals the physical and mental problems beings have, or the spiritual problem by removing their mental affliction. when one meditates on the four thoughts that has immeasurable benefit, like immeasurable love, there's four levels of that thought. So at the beginning, one cultivates the idea how wonderful it would be if everyone would be happy. And then a little bit more intense. May they be happy. And then more intense than that, I will make them happy. So here we are at the level of I will make them happy by sending. You see, you act, you're not just wishing them to be happy, you act to make them happy. So you act by sending rays of light rays that makes them happy. And then there's a fourth level where you pray to your gurus or to the enlightened beings to bless your mind so that you have even stronger love for others. Please, Guru Buddha, bless me to bring this about in this way. So you request the Buddhas, you request your spiritual teachers, to bless your mind so that your love and compassion become stronger, more genuine, more real. As you progress in this meditation, the space of your mind becomes in a nature of love, of caring, of wishing to heal and bring happiness to others. So you start experiencing the space of your mind as a loving space, a caring space. So the space-like nature of the mind is the same space-like nature of the mind as in the previous meditation. But now the space is pervaded with love. So you rest in that space of a loving mind. And you cultivate it by using just simple, subtle thought to cultivate that state of mind. But the greatest percentage of your mind just rests in the space of love. So you become the space of love. And just a little bit you use thought, loving energy that you send out to benefit the world. So if you're able to generate that mind of love, try to dissolve the feeling of subject-object duality. You're not meditating on love, you are love. You are the space of love that shines rays of light to benefit the world wherever it is needed. And for those which have certain level of understanding of ultimate reality, we try to bring in, there's no I that exists from his own side. There's no love that exists from his own side. There is no being that exists from the on-side. The I that exists is merely imputed on that space of loving mind. There is no inherent I. The beings we love and care for don't exist from the on-side, they are merely labeled by mind. And the mind of love itself doesn't exist from its own side either. It's merely labeled by mind. Want to stretch a little bit? 5 minutes? Okay, any questions about this meditation? Yeah.
So if I understood well, we begin first like imagining or like visualizing, feeling without reading the love as it's inside expands, and then this love we emanate this love to our close ones. Maybe we can even think about people, particular people who are sick or have problems, and then we like a wave, it gets bigger and it encompasses more and more people. It's the whole.
Yes.
What about, I know it's not about ourselves, but can we also in a way put ourselves in this continuity, or it's really towards the others in the beginning?
So there's a good point that you bring up. So there is a meditation where one starts by generating love for oneself, right? Where one wishes oneself to be happy, right? So one starts by sending healing energy to oneself, pacifying one's own mental affliction like that. One can do that, even though one doesn't necessarily need, because it comes by the way. It comes anyway, so one doesn't need to put special attention to oneself. But it says for certain people which have a lot of low self-esteem, lot of problem, to say, before I heal and help others, maybe first I should need to heal myself, I need first to take care of myself. So for those people, it's kind of helpful to imagine healing oneself, But in general, the meditation, normally it comes by the way, the more you care for others, naturally you heal yourself.
Because I guess because you're feeling it, you're emanating or cultivating.
Yes, yes.
Comes without even trying, just
yes,
it's just a way of being there.
Yes, yes, yeah. Yeah. Anything else? Everything clear? Fantastic. So we are going to conclude. We are going to read the dedication of Shantideva. So those which have the book, they can read, and those who have not, they can just meditate. They think, they dedicate along with Shantideva. So you see, Shantideva wrote this book, and then in the 10th chapter, he dedicated all the positive energy of composing this book. So today we have created a lot of virtue, a lot of virtuous thought, a lot of virtuous meditation. So all this now we dedicate. By the virtue amassed through composing this work, may all beings engage in the Bodhisattva way of life. May all those afflicted by physical and mental suffering obtain oceans of happiness and contentment. As long as they dwell in samsara, may their happiness never decline, and may they abide in the bliss of bodhisattvas. May the hell beings enjoy the contentment found in the land of bliss. May those afflicted with cold find warmth, those oppressed by heat be cooled by rains, pouring from the Bodhisattva's clouds of merit. May the forest of sword leaves become a pleasure grove, and the sword-like trees turn into wish-granting fields. May the hell become vast pools of delight. May the burning coals turn into jewels, and the mountains of crushing hells into celestial abodes. May the rain of lava, coal, and daggers turn into a rain of flowers. May those caught in the river, in the fiery river of acid, their flesh destroyed, attain celestial bodies and dwelled with gods and goddesses by peaceful streams. Seeing the horrifying agent of Yama, look upon with fear at Vajrapani's shining form. May beings' sin be purified. Seeing a rain of lotuses and scented water extinguish the fire of hell, may the beings there joyfully behold Avalokiteshvara. May all beings be free of fear and cheer upon seeing Manjushri. Through my virtues, may those in hell find happiness upon seeing Bodhisattva headed by Samantabhadras, and may their intense pain and fear be pacified. May the animals be freed from fears of being preyed upon, and the hungry ghosts be satisfied by a stream of milk pouring from Avalokiteshvara's hands. May the blind see forms, the deaf hear sounds, and pregnant women give painless birth, as did Maya Devi. May beings acquire what they need, clothing, food, drink, and so forth. May the fearful become fearless, those struck by grief find joy, the despondent become resolute, and the poor earn wealth. May the ill gain good health, and nobody ever gets sick. And may all beings be keen on helping each other. May travelers find what they are looking for, and those traveling by boat safely reach shore and reunite with friends and relatives. May those who travel in dangerous places find companions and be without fear or exhaustion. May the deities protect the dull, the insane, the young, and the elderly. May all attain a human state endowed with wisdom, faith, and love, and may they remember their past life. May the conflict or irritation, may they have inexhaustible wealth, and may beings of little splendor be endowed with magnificence. The lowing come to excellence, and the pride be humble. By this merit, may all beings attain from ignorance and always engage in virtue. May they engage in the Bodhisattva way of life and always be cared for by the Buddhas. May all beings enjoy immeasurable lifespan, so even the world of death disappears. May the world be filled with fulfilling trees, resounding with the sweetness of Dharma. May the ground be free of stones, level like the palm of a hand, and smooth like lapis lazuli. May the Bodhisattva dwell everywhere, adorning disciples with excellence, and may beings uninterruptedly hear the Dharma from birds, trees, light, and even space itself. May they meet Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and may teacher be worshipped. May rains be harvest plentiful, people prosperous, and leaders be righteous. May medicine be effective and mantras powerful, and may streets be filled with compassion. May no beings ever suffer or commit evil. May no one be afraid or depressed. May monastery flourish with scholarship and be harmonious. May dedicated monastics find solitary places to meditate. May their material needs be met, and may they be unharmed. May all ordained maintain pure ethics. When the discipline is broken, may they feel regret and purify, and those obtain fortunate rebirths conducive for the practice of morality. May the wise have abundance, pure mind, and widespread renown. May beings never suffer in lowering, and may they attain enlightenment quickly. May they revere the Buddhas and gain the inconceivable state of bliss. May the Bodhisattvas and Buddhas wish to, and may solitary lives and years find happiness. Through the kindness of Manjushri, May I remember past lives and embrace monastic ordination in future one. May I always live sustained by simple food and live spirituality. May Bodhisattva, my Manjushri appear to me wherever I wish to see him or ask him something to satisfy the needs of infinite beings. May my way of life be just like this, for as long as space endures, as long as being remains. Until then, may I too remain to ease the suffering of the world. May all beings suffering ripen upon me, and my happiness be full through the virtues of Bodhisattva. May the Dharma, sole remedies of suffering, source of all happiness, flourish forever. I prostrate to Manjushri, whose kindness is the source of my birth, and to my spiritual teacher, to whose aspirations I develop. So whatever beings you know, whether a partner, children, parents, friends, or situation in society, the wars in Gaza, Ukraine, and other places, and all the people that suffer from hunger, thirst, and sickness. So we offer them all the positive energy, the merit, the virtue we have created today by meditating on the pure nature of our mind and on love, compassion, and bodhicitta, and all the other virtuous state of mind we have created. We offer them all to all living beings. And may the reincarnation of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, which has been reborn in Nepal, so grow within his family happily, with a lot of love and compassion. And may we soon, when time has come, be recognized and given again the precious education, and he grows as a beautiful adult and able to benefit the world again like his previous life did. And may we again be able to receive teaching from him and progress along the path under his guidance. Okay, thank you very much. Have a nice evening and maybe see you tomorrow.